Vivid Land comes into play tapped, reaches for a die. That is definitely Chapter 1 in the 5-color control book. Figure of Destiny for Yamamoto.
Go.
Second
Roll.
Vivid Land for Nassif. And
One.
figure gets in there for 1.
Got a Mind Stone on turn 2.
Here's the Mind Stone. Boat Brew has a lot of fairly expensive spells. They're extremely powerful, but they're not cheap. And so the 2-spot often, dedicated to Mind Stone. I mean, the other 2-drop is Knight of the White Orchid, where, again, you're hoping to accelerate your mana with that guy.
Go.
Goal behind the Boat Brew is to build up to the powerful 5-mana spells, things like Siege Gang Commander, Revelark. He's got a Johnny Vengeance, right?
Yeah, he does have a Johnny Vengeance, which is very good against the 5-color control decks.
It's interesting that Kowal chose not to run them.
Yeah.
Like Brian Kowal, the guy who built this deck, there you get a good look at Gabe's hand. Lots of powerful...
Gas, a little more gas.
Yeah, gas. And on the other side of the table, Johnny Ranger, is it Forge Tender?
Ranger of Eos, Burrington Forge Tender.
What's on the left?
Figure of Destiny.
Figure.
And a Johnny Vengeance.
4 land. Yeah, he's got the 5th land there. So what's the play? Volcanic Fallout for Gabe, but I guess the Vivid Lands can fire it up. Figure attacks.
Did not get pumped up on turn 2. So
Right.
exactly
He wanted to spend his mana on the Mind Stone.
Sure.
Here's Forge Tender. Funny how many more of those are running around. I mean, everybody was talking about the impact that Volcanic Fallout will have against fairies, and Volcanic Fallout also, decent against, the Kithkin decks, the White Weenie decks, and so they've all got Forge Tenders now. It's a lot more of them than they used to have.
Okay.
Forge Tender resolves.
So he's going to draw some cards at the end of the turn.
Draw 2.
Yep.
Kimberly Nassif has a look on his face, sort of like, I hope I didn't use up all my luck in that last match.
Gabriel Nassif did have a top deck for the ages to win the quarterfinals, the deciding Game 5.
Wall of Reverence.
Well, there is Wall of Reverence. It's a solid blocker. It's a little bit of life gain. It's the potential to be a lot of life gain.
Go.
Yamamoto's got, he's got Wrath of Gods. We'll assume he's sided out.
Sure. Paths?
He does have Paths. He has 3 main, 1 in his sideboard. Can go up to 6 Planeswalkers post sideboard. Bring me into Elspeth, maybe. Another card that's fairly good against the 5-color control deck, just steady stream of creatures.
Yeah, sure. Well, there's Windbrisk Heights. Nassif just stares over, waiting. It's almost bored. Looks like a Path to Exile went under.
There's Johnny Vengeance. Please keep that land tapped. Thanks.
Yep. But which one?
That one.
All right.
Yeah, and Nassif's got a clock on him that he has to find a way to bounce or kill that Ajani, because 5-color control deck cannot do much without any lands.
It's true. It's very true.
It is a greedy, greedy deck that wants to play mana every turn. Pokemon Drifter.
Evoke.
Nope. Yeah. Had to use a counter from his Vivid Land to do that. He's got 2 filter lands, can't make blue to power them up.
Yamamoto clearly locked down the right land.
No.
Did Ajani's ultimate go off in the first game?
I have to find out from...
Sounds like the answer is no. Nassif just drew a bunch of land, is what it sounds like. Sat there and did nothing while monsters pummeled him.
You can see Figure of Destiny grow to its full potential this game.
Good. Yeah, Nassif's wall of... the wall is definitely preserving his life total. He's not under a ton of pressure from creatures this game. Pressure is coming from Ajani.
I think Yamamoto's fine sort of waiting this game out. Cryptic Command definitely makes things a little more challenging. 2 more figures. Oh, there's a Flamekin Harbinger for Rebel Arc.
And a figure.
Yep, make the Wrath a little more problematic.
Yep.
For Nassif. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm seeing Nassif climbing his way out of this game.
Well, we think we saw Broodmate Dragon in his hand. But I don't know that he's got time. Here's Flamekin Harbinger. So Yamamoto's next draw is Rebel Arc. It's like Nassif needs to somehow simultaneously hold up Cryptic Command and cast Broodmate Dragon. He's going to get to untap 4 lands this turn, right? Instead of the 5.
Yes, there's a land off camera that is tapped. The other Vivid Creek. We're gonna try to get everyone to push their lands into camera. You can see it nudging in there on the upper edge of the screen. A handful of just...
He's got gas in his hand. Fallout, Broken Ambitions, another wall, Mull Drifter.
Evoke.
Cryptic Command, another land. Yeah, there's Dragon. Oh, he's got Cruel Ultimatum, too.
And where are we on the Ajani? Is that 5 loyalty counters?
Yep, 5. Cryptic Command's got to help, right?
Yeah.
Gonna have to bounce and reset it next turn?
He would have liked to have drawn the Cryptic Command this turn.
Sure.
Cryptic the Rebel Arc, bounce the Ajani.
That would be good. He does not have that luxury, however.
No.
Those are Windburst Kites that's active too, right? I mean, whenever he likes, Yamamoto can attack, fire it off. What did we figure out it was? Path? I think it's a path.
Path to exile.
That's what we think it is.
As he discards.
Funny. Put it there where he can get it back with cool ultimatum later.
Yeah. Did he remember to gain a life there with the wall of reference? Don't think he did.
I don't think he did either. Nassif is very capable of missing a detail like that.
Good at the tough stuff.
He did gain a life,
Okay.
sorry. But it's true, Nassif is absolutely spectacularly brilliant at the hard parts of the game. And he's prone to making the occasional just missing an onboard trick type mistake. Which they lost a match in the limited portion where didn't realize his opponent could pump Dreadwing twice.
Right. So many of the creatures in this set, in the limited block,
Yep.
say use this ability once per turn, like Knight of the Skyward Eye.
Right.
You know, Dreadwing, you can get to a 7 if you have 6 mana.
Yeah. And Gabe was at 7 and attacked with his flyer. Made top 8 anyway. I mean, he's good enough that he can give one of those
he said
away.
he could give away. He can afford to throw away a match.
All right. Well, Ajani is now at 6 counters.
The problem
Locks down a land.
Now, the further problem is we're getting to a point where there's going to be a Revelark with a Flamekin Harbinger on the board. So now he wraths.
Right.
Revelark triggers. Flamekin Harbinger comes back into play. Goes gets a Revelark.
Right.
And the Thief has to start all over again.
Ajani means Gabe's at 6 mana here, not 7. I think he still has a Broodmate Dragon in his hand, right?
He does.
So he can, in theory, play Broodmate, but he gets Armageddoned. That land comes into play. Another comes into play, tap land.
Go.
He says, go.
Right, he had a land tapped from last turn. He has a new, fresh land tapped.
Combat.
Can Cryptic command the Johnny is a turn. It's on.
No, it's on 7.
Is it on 7 right now? Did he
use it already?
He just put it to
He
7.
just put it to 7? Yeah, he just put it to 7.
So he can't use
This
it
is the
this
last turn.
So he answers the text up. Does he have to tap all his creatures and then bounce a Johnny?
It's funny. I think what he wants to do is bounce, but not an option. Alright, Yamamoto decides it's time to start attacking. He attacks with Revelark, Ranger of Eos, and a 2/2 Figure of Destiny. Nassif has a Wall of Reverence. He puts it in front of the Revelark.
Prevents the most damage that
That
way.
prevents the most damage. Yamamoto chooses to pump the figure
To a 4/4.
up to a 4/4. So 7 damage dealt to Nassif. Yamamoto had the option to activate Windbrisk Heights, but chooses not to. Instead, plays an additional Mind Stone. Now, Gabe knows he needs to Cryptic Command anyway, so I think he's tempted to counter this,
Yeah, he's going to just draw a card.
but decides he'd rather draw a card. Has to bounce a Johnny, or he gets Armageddon next turn. Land's pretty important to the 5-color control strategy, so we certainly expect to see Cryptic Command here.
Another turn.
I guess he's thinking about what the other mode is supposed to be.
Yeah, I think it's draw a card.
Well, it could be bounce Revelark right now.
The Johnny and
Oh, it can't do both.
You can't bounce
do both.
bounce.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I think it would have been bounce bounce if that was illegal.
That's right. Still untapped. How many cards are in?
Cards. Oh,
Or I can just
4 cards.
get him down to 1 on a Cruel Ultimatum. if he
Yeah,
has
but
the
can't
mana.
quite clear his hand. One of the other advantages Luis Scott Vargas gets for sort of practicing so much, playing so quickly, playing an aggressive deck, he's going to be well rested for the finals. Whereas whoever survives this, their brain is going to hurt. It's the kind of match where you play for like 2 hours and it goes to 5, and then your brain's a little foggier after that. I believe LSV's won about 6 games in the time it took Yamamoto to win game 1.
In the way LSV's playing right now, though, he could win quickly with a prison deck.
Quite possibly. Alright, what does Gabe want to do? He can summon a Brewbait Dragon. He might be able to play Cruel Ultimatum if he's got the land. He does have the land, and chooses to play Broodmate Dragon. That seems right to me.
He's doing the math on...
It's a lot easier to say after he's committed to the play, of course. But I mean, I like getting those flyers out there. Now you sort of force Yamamoto to do something, and
targets.
He gains 4 life.
Deciding what to target. Again,
right. Yamamoto can pass
targets
as a response.
At the end of the turn, yeah. Yamamoto's like, that's fine, you can have 4 life.
Right. I think Gabe also is hoping Yamamoto will play 2 cards so that he can clear his hand with Cruel Ultimatum. He's trying to set up for that. The bad news is that Ajani's going to come down again, probably.
Well, he has a little time, though.
Yeah. Sack Mindstone? Yep, Sack Mindstone. Okay, make that 3 cards. We need Yamamoto to play for Cruel Ultimatum to clear his hand. Such a big difference between knocking out all the cards from somebody's hand and all but one.
And all but the one they want to keep.
Yeah, somehow that last card is always the best one. I don't know how that works out. Flamekin Harbinger heading in there. It seems like you want 3 attackers in order to fire up the Windbreath Kites now, right?
6.
That Wall of References has certainly slowed this game down considerably from the siege.
Yeah. All right, here comes Windbreath Kites. Path to exile.
Get rid of that dragon, please.
Gabe happy to fetch another basic land.
Precious land. We play a Vengeance here.
Well, Gabe gets the block first, right?
Yeah. Ranger Vios.
Seems like you munch Ranger, right?
Well, he can't actually pump. He can also trade with the figure. Well, he can't trade because the Forge Tender then will...
Right. So, yeah, you munch Ranger. Yeah. Take 4. Looks right.
Thanks to that conveniently placed point of power, the Ranger Vios can't come back from a Revelark.
Exactly. was definitely the result of playtesting inside Wizards R&D. Revelark, Ranger Vios was too good, so Ranger got worse by picking up a third point of power.
Yeah, better too. I mean, 3s attacks nicely.
It's net less powerful this way.
Yeah.
Okay, Johnny uses Lightning Helix to finish off the dragon, so Yamamoto spends his turn removing both halves of a Broodmate dragon. He's got to be feeling reasonably good about that.
Cards.
Until
6, 5.
5. Cards, yeah, that's... You don't like it when the Cruel Ultimatum player is so interested in knowing how many cards are in your hand.
Sonny, we talked about the idea that creatures have become
The 2-for-1s?
the 2-for-1s, but the idea that a 7 mana, like all specifically colored sorcery is such a it's an unexpected turn, I think.
There's
Right?
a wall in play and constructed too. Like 7 mana sorceries have been played before, not walls.
It's true.
It's probably the more remarkable feat. I think Gabe Walled in the top 8 more than we've seen summon walls. Yet another good complex card too. I mean, this set seems really fun. I mean, there's a lot of interesting things going on. You've got walls pushed to the point where they're good and constructed. You've got the new Sword to Plowshares coming back, and I don't know if it justifies all the hype, but I mean, clearly a very good, very relevant constructed card. Volcanic Fallout doing what people hoped it would do to the Med game, and sending the fairy decks down to the point where it's maybe good enough to sneak people into top 8, not the dominant boogeyman that it was.
We saw
months
ancient.
ago.
We saw Ancient Ziggurat being played in this top 8, made it to the top 4.
Wall of Reverence. Wall of Relevance is what was being called in the quarterfinals by Orsini Jones. Wall of Reverence, I think, is in fact very relevant to Constructed, and it's a card that
A lot of people missed coming into this
party,
event. Yeah.
A couple people had it. These guys obviously did, and I don't think they weren't the only ones, but not something I heard anybody talking about until today, basically. All right,
We're
Nassif
looking at
sizing up his
Yamamoto.
options.
Both players do a lot of counting.
Nassif managed to survive her Johnny, bounced it just in time to avoid losing all of his land. Now, he's looking over at a Figure of Destiny that can go large. He's looking over at a Burnt and Forge Tender that can counter his Volcanic Fallout. And he's looking over at a Revelark that can bring back some of these annoying creatures, including Flamekin Harbinger, to set up another Revelark. So, what is Gabe's plan?
Play another wall.
Play another wall of Reverence. Appears to be part of the plan. None of that's going to deal with the maxed out Figure, though.
Go.
Gains 2 life. (16 to 23). Yamamoto cannot usefully attack, with the possible exception of sinking all his mana into the Figure. Johnny locks a land down and picks up a second loyalty counter. Yamamoto's hand is Siege Gang, Figure, another Johnny. And here comes the Figure.
Okay.
He's got a Spectral Procession and yet another Figure. So Spectral Procession, Figure, a
It's a
Johnny.
pretty good hand.
Siege Gang. Yeah. It's interesting. The fact that Nassif chose not to Cruel Ultimatum there, does that tell Yamamoto there isn't one? So you're going to risk going down to 3? You can also, he's got Mind Stone there they can pad his hand with, in theory. And he says go. Okay, what's Nassif up to?
Cryptic command? Nope.
I don't see any reason to use a cryptic command there if he
I'm
had
just
one.
curious what he was thinking about.
I think he was thinking about the fact that he wanted his opponent to think he was thinking. I think that's what that was.